It's time for business. QBE sponsors the QBE Internationals on Sky Sports.
Doesn't get any easier next weekend. In fact, it probably gets a whole lot harder. World champions, Rugby Championship champions, New Zealand are the visitors to Twickenham. 1:30 on air, once again on Sky Sports 1 HD and Sky 3D as well. Will England head into that one with a victory or with a defeat? At the moment they trail by 3, but still right in touch with South Africa, and this one is in the melting pot. Let's hand you back to your commentators in 3D, Dowie Morris and Johnny Hammond, and here on Sky Sports 1 HD, Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Thanks, Alex. I was with the South African squad this week, and I say how they'd enjoyed the weather. Not so today. It is broken. But also broken is brought forward Yanni du Plessis. Scrum's always important, maybe even more so on days like these. We saw there Pat Cillier, who has come on to replace du Plessis in that front row. The decisions actually weren't going du Plessis' way. He's got a knee injury, we're told. It's not tactical. That's gone forward. Remember how Australia started that second half last week. England need to avoid that happening again. Let's go down to the touchline, and our reporter has some latest news. Graham Simmons.
Miles, thank you. Yes, the faint glimmers of a smile from Stuart Lancaster as he walked back out for the resumption of the second half. Technical discipline, he was saying, was very, very good, but he said we've got to keep the intensity. He was suspecting that they're doing, from his point of view, much of the right things. We've got to hope that things break their way a bit in the second half. You said there about the substitution, Cillier for du Plessis. Yes, it is an injury, but there was a long discussion between du Plessis and Nigel Owens in the tunnel just before they resumed onto the field. He clearly wasn't happy about the refereeing of the front row. Back to you.
Thanks, Graham. Yes, it was going against du Plessis. Not anymore. He's off the field. There's his captain, Jean de Villiers, as South Africa look to get this, what could be all-important first score of this second period and grab the momentum. Pienaar to Lambie, charged down, but then it fires back towards Kirshner. And England momentarily disorientated in defence there. And every right to be by the deflection. And it results in another penalty.
Little bit lucky there, South Africa. It wasn't a great kick from Pat Lambie, but he got the deflection, and I must say Zane Kirshner did really well now. It's been the big debate, hasn't it, all week. Do you take 3 points? Do you go to the corner? South Africa in the start at Murrayfield kept going for the corner, rued it. The way Lambie has kicked, you wouldn't have bet against him getting it, but the decision from the box is to go for this corner here. So little bit lucky there, the double, the ricochet, penalty comes. Key moment in the game, perhaps.
Might actually have led to an offside there that was missed, the ricochet. He came back forward off the kicker. So Etzebeth takes a change of policy, change of emphasis here from South Africa as they look to go for that England line and get the big score. Round they go, behind Pienaar, the Ulster half-back. To Etzebeth again, Alberts is there, Strauss, big men all. But it's loose, and then another ball comes flying back. Oh, that is rotten luck for England if that is a try for Alberts, and I think it might well be. Willem Alberts, who scored here a couple of years ago when he just burst onto the scene as a replacement then.
Yeah, was it charged down by
Might
Green?
well have scored again.
Huh? Say again.
It's a charge down. He's onside.
You've got no problem with the ground,
It could be pinball purgatory for England if this is a try. All happened so quickly.
We're going to check. You've got nothing for me, Peter, now, have you? Okay, we're going to check.
Well, Glenn Jackson's had
Check,
a word,
please.
but Nigel Owens needs more help.
The ball went back.
I think we all do.
The ball went back.
It was, as you say, pinballing around in there. Second time
Jim.
that it's happened.
Try
First
yes
to
or no,
create the
please.
position. Straight call, yes or no, to Jim Ewell, the television match official from Scotland.
But there's the ball lost. Hacked. forward, he's well in front of the ball, but it's gone backwards. Albert's in front of it, but it's
Well, I thought South Africa were offside from the first one, the one that led to
but he's not
the attacking
about
moment,
that, is he?
Wood
And the ball's
plays the
good.
ball.
He's played him onside.
Played him onside. Different scenario.
Yes, Jim. Okay, thank you.
It's a try. It's a cruel blow for England, but something they will have to absorb, take in, and come back from. Willem Albert scores at Twickenham again. He will never score a luckier one, but he won't complain.
Well, fortune really on the side of South Africa. They've only scored 5 tries from 88 line-out drives for a long time, but that time the decision not to go for the 3 points counts. Lambie about to kick, loses the ball again. It's Peterson, I think. Wood doesn't control it, and it's a 7-pointer.
It is a 7-pointer because that from Pat Lambie is a beautiful conversion, which proves he'd probably have got the penalty as well had they taken it. But the way it's worked out for South Africa is jackpot. They've got the full 7, and on a day like this, that's possibly a very big moment. It's created a 10-point gap. Much, much better than the mere penalty.
The 10 points here is a lot, and if England are going to win this one now, they are going to have to play some really good rugby. The intensity has been decent all game.
Now, was this offside? There's the kick, back onto his foot, and JP Peterson was in front.
Do you think so?
Think so.
Who's going to spot that? I mean, it's just it was a freak occurrence. You might be right, Miles, but you're not going to spot that. It's all happened so quickly.
Well, hang on, we called it live from here. Not necessarily going to say that they've got a easy job out there. Of course they haven't, but and that was the feeling originally from here.
Lost on white, in contact, scrum, green ball.
It all happened so quickly. But of course the television match official has to restrict himself in these games. Yeah, Peterson's got in front.
I just, Miles, that's so tight. I cannot see that. If it is offside, I think it's so marginal. So marginal.
But that point about the television match official, you can't go back any further than the try scoring moment, unlike what's happening in a trial basis in the Premiership domestically in England. Now Toby Flood has gone off, and the way he's gone off, that looks a little bit more permanent.
Time on, please.
Slumped shoulders from Flood as he leaves and Owen Farrell returns.
Well, it's a very big call because Owen Farrell has been no more than functional all season. England are 10 point down and they want to chase a game, and they brought on someone who really hasn't shown much creativity, so Flood must be injured there, but this doesn't help England.
Lambie kicks, and there was space there. It's a little bit too close from a South African perspective, not England's, to fullback Alex Good. That been held back a little bit more than Hugard might have been interested. As it is, it's still not a bad result, and therefore a very useful kick. I think Hugard's just gone across there to say, look, it might have been on, and a bit more towards me. It wasn't, but England's still under the cosh here.
Yeah, it really is. This is a big time for England now. They're playing with intensity, played at a better tempo in the first half, with Toby Flood off and England trying to find the way into this game. 10 points, I'll reiterate it, is a big margin, because after Ben Morgan's charge in the first 5 minutes, Miles, England hadn't got near the try line, and South Africa are not going to drip this one away with penalties conceded.
Strauss throws, safe ball to Etzebeth. Man cleared to play in this game. Ledge gouging case, contact with the eye. With Greg Laidlaw of Scotland, but I don't think there's much in that. He was rightly cleared, but he does come with an edge, does Evan? And England react. And so too Tom Young's there on the floor. England got to be careful. Do not want to be men down. Corbisiero is trying to free himself, or maybe make a bit of contact as well.
Etzebeth and Launchbury, the two 21-year-olds, at it.
There are a few peacemakers in there, and there are a few that weren't making peace. And Launchbury and Etzebeth
Have you got something?
at the front of the queue.
You have, yeah? Okay. Captain, stay there, please. I've got nothing, just a scuffle and all.
What started it is number 4, Green,
Okay.
has put his hand up to the face of an England player.
Okay.
Okay, so it's penalty.
That's going to be the penalty.
Just a penalty, and it was actually in touch, so it's in 15 where the penalty is.
I didn't see what Etzebeth
So South Africa to suffer. Etzebeth singled out.
2 captains, please. And 4 Green.
Etzebeth,
Don, you get the
it's in
number
touch
4.
when it starts.
That behaviour is not
Just rubs
acceptable.
the knee into Ben
We all
Youngs. It
agree
doesn't
with that
react well
country.
to that.
I
Etzebeth
want
said,
you two to
"Hang
go
on.
and speak to your teams,
I'm
so that is not
6'8"
happening
and
again.
18 and a
The penalty
half
is against
stone.
you. You and give the one who caused it with putting a hand in the face. Not acceptable. That is the end of the matter. I don't want to speak to you again. Is that clear? Yeah. Is that clear? Thank you. Go and speak to your team. I will start the penalty here against you here. Go and speak to them, please. Go and speak to them.
Well, Etzebeth was in trouble last week in Scotland. He was charged with potential gouging. He was found innocent, and it's hand around the face again. That's the penalty. It's not the knee. And once Ben Young got the shove from Etzebeth, England were in.
He doesn't really need the naughty step for any extra height, does he, Evan Etzebeth? But he's been on it this week, and he's on it again here with the sanction, a penalty no more.
There was a time when that was just, guys, let's calm it down. Frankly, he put his hand into Ben Young's face. He didn't do anything other than just say, I'm here. I didn't see anything initially there worthy of a penalty.
Young's throws, finds Parley. Foul. England called onside, but again they looked as if they were getting in front of the kicker. Tuilangi then gets a little tug back, and South Africa have the ball back. Here's Pienaar to Lambie, and it will be an England line-out. Mike Brown contemplates it quickly, but he doesn't take the option.
So the game has changed shape now with that horrible ricocheting try. South Africa now with a 10-point lead, don't have to take risks. Lambie will just chip it down into the 22. South Africa, with the line out that has put Tom Youngs and England under pressure, will be happy with this set piece, and they'll try and force England to come from deep and put the pressure on. Etzebeth right in there.
Hands away, Green, advantage right, stop on. And use it.
England told to use it. And we've seen South Africa caught before this afternoon on the 5-second rule. Oh, that's come back to Corbisiero. Good hand. Gives it to Morgan. England have a chance to go. Farrell gives it to Good. Now to Ilangi. First chance to stretch the legs. Those powerful, strong Leicester legs. Good run from Mana to Ilangi. Goes Morgan again. England up to that Springbok 22. Tuilangi again, but took that one still. Farrell. Tom Wood wrestling with Corbisiero. Youngs. And Nigel Owens wasn't looking at that. He might have knocked Tom. He's got a call from his assistant. Youngs knew he'd done it. Owens didn't initially, but they're all wired up, the officials these days, and it works.
That's a great box kick from Ben Young. JP Peterson, one of the best in the business at handling with that, doesn't get near it. Good pressure from Mike Brown, and that is what you want from a high kick. good attacking opportunity, and Tuolangi's out of the box there, and real trouble. And that comes from a superb box kick from Youngs. Good scissors from Barrett. Powerful handoff. Etzebeth can't get there for pace. And then we see that pumping, driving technique of Tuolangi. That was better from England.
This young Lambie treated there with the handoff by Tuolangi. 2 tries against Fiji, 1 try last week. Again, there's been a debate about Tuolangi. Is he a plus or a minus in the media this week? But you know, his scoring record is sensational. 8 tries in 15 tests before today.
But 10 points down, England can't just go to Tuolangi as their man. They've got to have other options than that, and this is the test now. They've got to get Chris Ashton into this game as well. Ben Youngs is threatening, he's making some nice darts, his kicks are good. He's got to stimulate England as well, but that's the problem. When you're 10 points down, a penalty against you at a scrum is such a hammer blow, because South Africa just kicked the ball into England's territory, and their line out so strong, they control the ball and they control the clock.
And the rain now starting to drive down, as you saw there. It's been pretty steady all day, but it's relentless now. He's in the dry, but his team not home and dry yet, but greatly helped by that try from Alberts, which changes the way that South Africa have to play now. England having to come on and come from behind.
Horribly cruel blow for England, that try. Just everything went against them there. Ricochets, knock-ons, but Alberts was quick, saw his chance. It was an open goal and he took it.
Gap shot, free kick.
Bomb. This is where it should go, and certainly not on Zane Kirshner.
Farrell the man to supply it. Toby Flood's replacement. Well, it's gone straight to Kirshner, and England not able to get anywhere near him.
That was terrible.
Farrell's going to get another chance, and there's no fullback at home this time. His own fullback, Alex Good, is trying to get there, but JP Peterson has played fullback and wing long enough to be able to deal with that. And England now have a line out where they didn't want one.
Technically and tactically, that was awful from England. Owen Farrell's got a free kick. St. Kirshner's one of the best in the world. It's down his throat and he's got 10 metres. Farrell gets a second chance. Kirshner's out of the way. Who's the other bloke who could play full-back for Springboks? JP Peterson. And England have been driven backwards there. And, you know, I can't say father will be too pleased with his son there.
Oh, and it's gone all the way through to Pienaar. Pienaar to Lambie, who sees off the first challenge. And now Farrell makes a tackle. In comes Tuolangi. Oh, he's stolen it. Manu Tuolangi powering on again. He needs some pace help. It comes from Ashton. Ashton gives it on to Mike Brown. Great pick-up in the end. It wasn't the best pass. Brown did well to get there. England storming out of defence. Ben Youngs, give it to me, says Captain Robshaw. Now it's Farrell. And good. Interception from Manu Tuolangi when South Africa were really getting up ahead of steam inside that England 22. It was self-inflicted. England were in trouble there, but they're not in trouble now with Parling. Youngs to Farrell. Oh, good, takes it out of the air. It's not that slickness of passing that you really need to see in that situation, but England take it on over the gain line. Once more they go. Ben Morgan. Youngs. Farrell. Ooh, threw that into Launchbury. England have got to be more precise when those territorial moments come along. Peterson kicks. Now it's a chase. And it won't be any more. It'll be another England line out. This time on the other side of the field. Similar line from where it all started, where it was given away to Pienaar.
Well, you wondered, is this going to be the game? and then a couple of seconds later you wonder, is this the moment England are in it? South Africa on the attack. That's well picked out by Manu Tuolangi, and England's passing not quite good enough. They don't get the support there they could have done. Tuolangi's pass is good. Ashton's technique just lets him down. Brown does well, but from being on the edge there, England, they were back on the attack, and they really took it to South Africa. And again, the Springbok defence excellent, and Peterson's kick superb.
Two changes, you can see there, Wood coming off Corbisiero. Vunipola comes on, third cap for him. Haskell back in the England picture. 44 caps he's got now. Goes to Parling. Didn't quite get time there, but I just want your view on those England passes. In Ashton we saw, but then in midfield from Farrell. They're going to get a box kick. What was your view?
Not good enough, but England haven't been passing well enough for 9 years. But in certain England, it doesn't seem to be an important skill. In New Zealand, it's rated quite important, but under pressure, when you're 16-6 down and it's raining and it's the Springboks and it's 82,000, your technique has to stand up, and England have got to work harder on basic qualities.
Release, it's a ruck now!
Not the driest of balls out there, also have to put that into the debate as well. But England need to find the killer touch, there's no doubt about that. Not going to win games like these unless they do.
No, at the moment, England are staying in as a threat because of Tuolangi. Let's not kid ourselves. Two big bursts from the Leicester midfielder. He's really just kept England alive with his power and running.
And what is a very difficult day to haul yourselves back into a match. Here he goes. He's never going to have the pace. He's got the power, not the pace to go all the way from there, but he's very aware of Ashton came on. That was a good pass. And Chris Ashton, whose technique is normally so good, although Brown was covered.
Well, Mike, first of all, Ashton's support line was brilliant. And then secondly, Mike Brown stayed wide. He should have been coming in on the angle to make it easier for Chris Ashton. He actually fades off the pass, and I think if he straightens that line, he makes it much easier for his opposite wing.
Taken by Etzebeth. England try and drive through, but it's in at the side. In attempting to do so, Mako Vunipola.
18 white.
He's had a very positive introduction into international rugby. The young Saracens prop. Marcel Coetzee is about to come on. There he is. Saw him for the first time in international rugby in the summer. Made his debut against England. 11 caps before today, so he's taken part in all 11 South African games in 2012. And he's going to take part in number 12 here. We're hearing that Alberts will be the man to come off, the try scorer. And that confirmed when the number goes up. That was Lowe taking it. He's the other option to go off in the back row for Coetzee.
Get up now, Green, get up now.
Haskell goes in, and then Launchbury does as well. He's certainly on his feet. He's won the decision. South Africa take the ball away, prevent England from taking the quick one, although I'm sure they were ever considering it anyway. What a Launchbury.
Staying in this game, England. Just go back to that Manu Tuolangi burst down, and again the footballing skills of Chris Ashton. Tuolangi is tearing down the field. Ashton aware of what's on, and just watch how he puts himself in position. Tuolangi's there. He works so hard to get himself in A1 position. Now I think at this moment Mike Brown needs to come off his left wing, and he just makes it a little bit too difficult for Ashton. Brilliant support line though from Chris Ashton.
Just wondering that moment whether we saw that Mike Brown was not a regular winger.
Yeah, it's hard. It's instinct, isn't it? It's instinct. Had Brown been infield 10 metres, does he run that straight line? He's so good at doing McQuinn's.
Alberts goes. Coetzee comes on. Because South Africa scored so early in the second half, England have the time to sort out the problem. Still not reached the midway point, but that is not straight. And that is a problem for England that hasn't quite gone away today.
It's a combination of bad conditions and a very fine line out and an inexperienced hooker. who hasn't really found his rhythm with Tom Wood all day. This time, he actually goes for his old mate, Jeff Parlin. And there you can see, 9-1, 5 loss. That ain't enough against the box, especially in these conditions.
Strauss to Kriya.
More, keeper, stay up.
Former Northampton man. Said that he always wanted to play for Northampton after watching them in the Heineken Cup final here 12 years ago. Win the Cup against Munster is Pienaar, who now plays his rugby in Ireland with Ulster and Huhart. The ball. Pienaar again. The invitation to catch it out of the rain. Up goes Kirshner. Well played Launchbury. Big broad back being used to good effect. Also Tom Young's there. Brother Ben gives it out to the England midfield where Morgan was loitering. Farrell finds Barrett. Ben Youngs, that's not good, Cole. Well, he got something on it, and that might be vital. Parling was just given the chance, therefore, to spread his whole body over the ball. Farrell, that's better.
It's a nice pass there from Farrell.
To Brown. Strauss is offside. Tuilangi does want the quick one here, but I think he was on his own.
South Africa were never letting that one go, were they? Strauss was offside one side, and J.P. Peterson was being a complete pain in the backside on the other side there.
You're in a position to take the consequences if things go wrong, okay?
England have a little convention. It's a very important line out. He knows it.
Such a big decision now for England strategically as well. Do they just say we'll settle for any sort of line out, or do they say we're 10 down with 20 to go, we've got to get good ball at the front and rear?
Goes to Parling again, and this time it is palm down from Parling to fellow lot Launchbury. Vunipola. Youngs. Barrett as England look to try and show their attacking game. Haskell trying to impose themselves as the home team. Youngs, both of them. Here's Farrell. Parling's work rate has been right up there today. Hands on it from South Africa. That might well have been a penalty. Just about released in time. Referee did call it. The release, that is not the penalty. Here's Rob Shaw.
South Africa read that inside ball from Ben Youngs very well there.
Youngs gets his wish. Ben Youngs pointing out the hands in that ruck, and Nigel Owens, and everybody is saying post.
Did it with a straight face as well there, didn't he, Ben Youngs? So with some help from his friends, Chris Robshaw gets the right decision this time, and now Owen Farrell has to turn a good decision into 3 points. Kick goes over. England have got 20 minutes, not just to get a converted try to win, to draw the game, but to chip away with a few penalties and win it. They've got to get themselves within range. It's fair to say a lesson learnt from 1 week to the next.
In these conditions, it will be a great effort to get out of this. 16-6 down against a side ranked second in the world. Got this fine recent record here at Twickenham. Said that England need to make it feel like home. Well, South Africa, it's been a very good home for them of late.
It has, and South Africa have been very good this autumn at playing the game at their pace. And when you're 10 down and it's a funereal pace, it's very hard to score points quickly. They're very good. Haven't conceded many points, have they? 21 in 2 games. Only 6 so far.
Here's Farrell. Oh, that is a beauty from Farrell. Well done to him. You'll be that England still regret those first half misses, but they are back now within a 1-score range. It has to be a try and conversion. Remember, the only try of the game was a very fortuitous one. It's taking a lot for either side to create much today in this Twickenham weather. but England are back in touch.
Well, one thing with Owen Farrell, he knows how to kick under pressure. He has got ice in his veins as a goal kicker. There's no doubt about that. If he's going to kick England back into it, he'll do it.
Good kick from Ben Youngs. There's a lot of pressure on him there. Two men coming through. Ashton through, but he's missed Vermeulen. And Vermeulen's going on there, beating two and showing great poise as well as his power. Pienaar knows that Ashton's not there, so up comes Alex Good. He's done well. Could see it. He needs help. The fullback, and Launchbury got back there. He covered a lot of ground there, Launchbury. More good from him. Now Robshaw's going after this. Must let the man drop.
Okay, run into him.
Yeah, he ran into him and protected him well. Kirshner's kick. Good again. Peterson with the tackle. England need this ball. Farrell was there, did well.
It's on here.
For Mike Brown, maybe. He carries. Thinks about kicking. Goes again for Vermeulen, and now the tackler. Ben Youngs gives it to Farrell. Oh, it's very busy in front of him there. Haskell's there to help out. Good. Results to the boot. Pienaar had a chance to call for the mark there. Doesn't go for it. Goes for the long touch find instead, or at least narrowing Good's angle, who goes outfield therefore. Oh, Ashton loses the ball in the tackle. And the knock-on is called.
And there you see, Miles, why South Africa didn't want to call the mark. Call for mark. He's going to take his time and find touch. Bang it long. With 7-point margin, South Africa are saying to England, come from deep and you make the errors. They back themselves. Their kick chase game is very intelligent. Pienaar's not been at his best today, but as the game goes on, he's getting stronger in his decision making and his kicking.
Haskell, who started the third test in Port Elizabeth. There he is on this near side. Went very well that day. England almost winners then.
Set! Pick it up!
Now they need to start to be winners in these games at home in the autumn. Lambie goes over the top. They know they can't concede again here, England.
No counts!
The clock would start to be against them then. Youngs to Farrell. Hugart. Into the driving rain he goes. Tuolangi, but Hugart is a real street fighter.
Stay four. Okay.
This will be Ben Morgan's. Good catch. John de Villiers was there, but so too Alex Good in support.
Roll away, Green. Ruck is called.
Dealt with the last two kicks very well. Good sweeping up the chip, and then Morgan and Good combined there. Good defensive play from England.
Young's just checking. He was able to kick it into touch on the full without losing ground. It was taken back into the 22. Kriya. Pienaar. It's all very narrow here from South Africa, but JP Peterson can make an awful lot of those situations. Gets it back. Pienaar in there again. Look at Farrell putting himself about there on Lambie, and Barrett too. That's great commitment from England. And England trying to drive through. That's what Australia were doing to them last week. And they won the penalty. Lesson learned.
66 minutes and Twickenham comes to life there because England are fired up, and that was really good rucking work. For once they don't get to the ball and stop the men in white, drove beyond it and they earned the penalty. That's tremendous work from England's pack.
And Farrell, good kick.
Well, that's brilliant work from the forwards here. First of all, it's very smart play from Lambie. And then And Barrett comes in with a hit. Watch the England players. Dan Cole doesn't get open this time. He tries to get and work, stays on his feet. Tom Youngs is very strong there. England's hooker does a big job.
England to make a change at hooker. David Pace comes on with a dry towel. Off goes Tom Youngs. And it's a brotherly change as Ben Youngs goes. Danny Kerr comes on at scrum half. Young squared, leaves the field.
Off green. Okay. Accidentally on white, first knock on green.
Tom Young's last play is something England should be looking at. Get tight to your man, bind and drive beyond the ball. It's given England 40 metres and it's kept them in the game. Really good ruck in there. We don't see enough from England. That was excellent from Tom Youngs. Now, David Pace. Can he produce something? 12 minutes. It's plenty of time, but the Box are a very strong defence.
Worked out quite well for England, hasn't it? The chance to put into the scrum. First defence from Nigel Owens there was the knock-on from South Africa. Vunipole's got an interesting view. He's gone upside down. Here's Kerr. Peterson there again. Kerr back on his feet.
Away, green!
Man who scored in that third test in PE. What England would do for a try now, and what a finish that would set up. Kerr in there again. Haskell and Robshaw combine.
Away, green! Quickly, please.
You can see how tentative the players are at times because of that ball. It's Greasy. Parling. Still he goes forward. Robshaw too, the captain. Kerr, his fellow Harlequin. That's David Pace. He's going to need to turn and does. Launch spree. How solid has he been?
He's a good one. He's a good one.
England going forward in pairs now. Crowd willing them on. Farrell. What's the distribution like here? It's found Barrett. Okay, it's behind you. Morgan's got it for England. Through the hands of Pace, but it's gone backwards. Here's Tuilagi, whose one way is forwards. Farrell, inside ball. It's loose again. And South Africa don't want the advantage.
So Farrell looking for the inside ball, and it's not just accurate, and it's not enough dynamism, and the hit's big.
Dean Ryan, front line.
There's been a real difference in the opportunities facing each kicker, and you see here the problem with playing a left winger or a fullback on the left wing. He should be moving across now, Mike Brown, into that space, and Lambie spots it. Huge amount of opportunity, and that's just those little differences which are keeping South Africa on the front foot.
Etzebeth is going. Flip Van der Merwe comes on. The ball's locked. And he got a yellow card against Scotland last week. And there he is, number 19. Well, the sold-out signs have been up and will be next week again, of course, for New Zealand. But England facing the prospect of going into that match with just the one win against Fiji.
I guess if England do lose this game, in a way it liberates them, because very few people will expect them to win, and they can actually just say, let's go for it. And if New Zealand score 40, let's score 2 or 3 tries ourselves. Still time for this one though, still plenty of time.
Pienaar kicks. Now, was that taken back into the 22? It was. Glenn Jackson knows, the assistant on this side, so Danny Kerr, keep an eye on him. Well, all this talk about England tapping and going too quickly, that won't change Kerr's mindset. He knows that that's part of his game, to always look. It was taken back in.
Well, Vermeulen, he actually was inside, but he picked up the ball from outside. An error from the Box.
Hayes throws again, it's to the front. Morgan that time moving forward. But England need their players back on their feet, the likes of Morgan, to get this going. Launch spree. Well, that's a brave effort, but he did need support. Morgan's coming round now. Parling, gives it to Vunipola.
Well, Parling did the right thing there. England are having no joy, one out, but he just moved the point of attack to Vunipola, who just couldn't control it there. He was a little bit hurried, a little bit nervy, the passing. So that's where England need to be. It's from there that they can get second face. He can't go into there. Look, the ball is the good one. He's trying to put his prop forward against the back. He doesn't want to be running at Francois Lowe. He wants to be running there at Pat Lambie, but Vunipola can't control it in these conditions. It was the right idea from Parling, but it wasn't quite held there. They haven't got perhaps to Pat Lambie as much as England would have liked, but a free kick.
Care, he'll tap this one, gives it to Rob Shaw. England looking to set up the grandstand finish. The possibility of a winning finish. That's a penalty. There's too many times from South Africa, and that one right in front as well. 8 minutes left, plenty of time. Rob Shaw has pointed at the post. Mind you, we said that last week, didn't we?
If I feel any more penalties here are willful, it's going to be 10 minutes. There's been a couple here in the contact area. You need to stop, okay? You were off your feet. I told you off your feet to leave. You still played it. Any more in here? Somebody's going.
Yeah, so not quite too many. One more, and it will tip the balance.
Ben Young's looking on. That's a professional team. When you get a referee saying, do this once more, then you're going in the bin. With only 8 minutes to go, you can live with that. And that's pretty cynical. It's on the 22 there from Francois Lowe. He knows exactly what he's doing. They're protecting a 7-point lead. I think we'll give 3 away, but we ain't giving any more than that. Well, they are going to give 3 away, and it gives England 8 minutes. They've had so much possession. They've had so many ball carries. Can they find a way to unlock South Africa? Can they unleash Tuolangi for one massive run?
Young Farrell again. No problem, but England still have a problem. Mo Botha to come on. Other man back into the matchday squad today. And Joe Launchbury is coming off. And what an excellent effort it has been from Launchbury. His first start in international rugby, first of many.
I've been impressed with him coming off the bench for England, and I've been extremely impressed in his 72 minutes. Started against Eben Etzebeth. He was told to go and mark him against one of the best. He's done really well, and now South Africa, they are making kicking errors. It's getting England back into the game. Pienaar's kick when the ball went back into the own 22, and then a restart. They're handing territory away. Smart play, Morgan.
Well, we're saying England in touch. It's South Africa putting it in touch there from the restart. Great awareness from Morgan.
But that's really poor from South Africa. Ruan Pienaar, you know, England's 3 points came from South Africa going back into the 22 when they took the ball back in. And that is a cardinal sin. 16-12, they've given England ball and they've given them a chance to play territory.
Little tap there for Morgan to bring it away, but it's going to be a penalty. As England get the power of the scrum, the forwards knew what was happening all around them.
I think Farrell's got a big boot on him. If he thinks he's got, if he says to Rob Shaw he's got the range, the captain should say go for it. But if your kicker says, I'm not certain about it, kickers never get it when they say, I'm not certain about it, I'll have a go if you want.
And with 6 minutes to go, England still need another score.
Yeah, if it had been 15 metres, 10 metres nearer, Miles, then the right thing to do would have been go for the 3 points. There's still plenty of time. But if the fly half is doubtful, then you do the right thing there, which is go into the corner.
So that is one that England will not be vilified for. Change with Brits coming on at hooker for Strauss. And Brits, Saracens clubmate, say fellow South Africa, both up, but now of course qualified for England. Takes that ball for England as England look to drive. Wouldn't it be ironic if they got the score now, having not gone for the kick? For all the right reasons, all the right considerations there. In view of what happened last week, would be a moment of redemption as Haskell has it. Needs to get the energy, needs to get the drive. But that's coming from South Africa there. Care, concern etched on his face there. England against the clock now, as well as South Africa. Vunipola sets it back to Care. Now it's Ashton, supported by pace. Good leg drive there from Ashton. Did he control it? No, he didn't.
Lost forward.
It was lost.
To the ground. Green ball.
The game is not lost yet, but that doesn't help the England cause.
No, it doesn't. Real disappointment there. It isn't easy conditions. It was missed, has just descended. It's wet, slippery all over, and Ashton is working hard. But you can see England have committed more handling errors, but that is actually only a reflection of the fact that England have had so much possession and they've carried the ball so much more than South Africa. What they haven't done is find their way to the try line. But when you stop and think about this situation, South Africa are 7 in front, but you will not see a more fortuitous try in your life. Carries you can see there. England, they've had the lion's share. They haven't been able to do anything. Well, South Africa, they've only got 1 try, Miles, and it was the flukiest you'll ever see.
And that's Davy Wilson for Dan Cole. And to continue with the ironic theme, that was when South Africa had turned down a kick for goal.
Yeah.
Couldn't script it really, could you?
Let's go back to this horrible moment for England fans. A kick, a deflection. Tom Wood knocks it on. He puts Willem Alberts onside. And that is a try. It's the ugliest you'll ever see, but Willem Alberts will love that. Score it again.
And they will debate, no doubt, in the aftermath, should South Africa have been anywhere near the try line because of that offside. And you made the fair point that it all happened in the flurry.
Miles, I've got to say, I don't think it's offside. I've
You still don't think it's offside?
I think Peterson was just onside.
So debatable. But there's always going to be close calls in a game. And certainly a game as close as this, they will feel like big calls. Very big calls.
The Springboks look decidedly cautious at the moment.
I didn't think so then.
Their kicking strategy has been woeful in the last 10 minutes. It's given England an opportunity.
Playing the clock. Vunipola. Care to Haskell. Good work by both, but good muscle required, and it came. Farrell to Tuilangi. So difficult here for England to engineer anything. But they're going to have to. Morgan. Haskell. Care and Farrell don't want to kick it away.
But that inside ball has to be disguised a little more.
But it's ebbing away. Here's Rob Shaw. Care. South Africa can afford to put hands on it. 3 points doesn't hurt them.
He's gone.
Simply might. But even now, that might not be an issue with just 3 minutes left. Penalty coming England's way. Care.
No arms in the tackle.
To Farrell. To Good. Tapped on, but it was a free play. There'll be disappointment in the crowd, but Some will have realised too that it was advantage.
Now 2.5 minutes to go.
No arms in the
And
tackle.
I think Chris Robshaw this time is going to the corner because the kick takes a minute. That is up to 78 minutes. The restart takes another 30 seconds. Oh,
What is the call?
No. You see, well, Farrell has got to kick this within 20 seconds and hope that South Africa don't dawdle, but they're going to dawdle.
Well, certainly dissent in the ranks there. Robshaw
2 minutes. No, you made no count.
emphasising the fact that he wanted the three-point shot, but he also says that his man has to kick quickly.
It's the wrong decision because South Africa will not bring this ball back quickly, and it's not football with the clock stopping. They will go long, and then England will need to score from 100 metres in a minute or less.
Is it muddled thinking again? Farrell, well, he does his bit. He gets the 3 points. That's when Robshaw is insisting it's the right thing to do. He may be proved. We've got to do that for him now.
Well, let's just watch Pat Lambie now. Stuart Lancaster and Farrell look on. South Africa, they've taken the clock down to 79 minutes. That is brinksmanship, captaincy of the... Oh, I don't believe he's put it out. No.
Both has played it. Both has played that. The flag is up, and the arm will be pointed from Peter Fitzgibbon towards South Africa. And we're in the final minute.
I'm afraid the newspapers are going to be full of Chris Robshaw's decision. It's a great kick. There's nothing he can do there. He can't risk it, and that should be game for South Africa now. It really should.
Hugo's not the tallest. Tight calls that decide games. Captaincy calls that decide games. Last week and this. South Africa had possession, had scored. Well, he's got to risk it. He's got to risk incurring the wrath of the referee there. England somehow got to try and get it back, but they can't. South Africa are going to end their international season with a win at England's home. It's going to be 3.5 to a half over the whole of the year between these two, and that just might be a fair reflection of where these two stand at the moment. England and Chris Robshaw made the call at the end, and it could well turn out to be a call that haunts him.
It's a poor call there from Chris Robshaw. He's overreacted to last week. England at that stage had to go for the corner. They had to go for the try. The odds were so much against them winning. They're going to lose the game in the newspapers because of that call. Of course, the odds are against you scoring. Ironically, when South Africa didn't go for three, they went to the corner. They scored in the most fortunate circumstances. England will look at that and they will say South Africa got one incredibly lucky score. We lost by 1 point. In other day, that would have been ours, and they might be right. But the problem is, it's another defeat. It's 4 losses and a draw against the big guns.
What are we seeing here, Stuart? Are we seeing a team that in so many ways is still inexperienced? And let's not forget that Chris Robshaw himself is in his 11th cap. He's led England in all but one of those games, yes, but it's still a junior phase of his international career. Or are we seeing, and just to take that a little bit further, we're seeing a team that is very, very close and can in time take the step.